The story is called All Eyes on Me by me, Ezekiel Dubois. Ethan sat on the edge of the hill watching the sky. Pink and fluffy, the sun was golden and looked like the closest thing to heaven he would ever see. Ethan reached out to the sky, wanting to feel what the clouds felt, but he knew he never would. The grass felt like silk to his skin. Thank God for the rain, Ethan thought to himself. Ethan liked to come to this place because it was a good hiding spot. Not to mention the view. A ringtone yelled out. Ethan jumped out of his curiosity. He answered, still collecting his cool. Dude, you going to Anna's party? Yeah? Sick, what'd you want from the store? No, I have to get up at 4 tomorrow. Why are you giving excuses? I'm not. I'm just fucking with you. I understand. Have fun tonight. See you, dude. Truthfully, Ethan wanted to be on his best behavior for someone. Something about his friend David that would be good to know is that David just called, and also David was always partying or was working. His family always lived in that area. His dad worked and had fun, and he always made sure David grew up on that idea. Plus, the money in this area paid well, so that helped. His mom had her hand on the pulse of the rumors and news in the area. She was always talking, not to mention anyone in particular, just anyone who would listen. Not all that to say, David's parents let him live. For his dad, as long as he was getting work done, he'd get him alcohol for all he cared for. His mom had some issues with him wreaking havoc on the small town of Rayne, Texas, and the surrounding Cow Plains County. But she knew she'd find out if he did something wrong, so she took solace in that fact. Ethan was glad he had something to do. Even though he loved to think without interruption, he hated to be alone. When he got home, his mom asked where he'd been. He told her that he'd been at the hill. She gave Ethan a disapproving look and went on her way. He knew she disapproved of him being alone, but he knew she wouldn't tell him to stop. Anyway, Ethan needed to get ready for that night. He had been waiting all week for today because he was hoping Naomi would be there. She was new and he was hoping she would want to dance or something, hopefully. Also, the food of these things were pretty good. When Ethan pulled up to the front lawn, he immediately saw Naomi. She saw him and waved. Ethan nearly walked into a ditch as he walked up. Ethan cleared his throat and nervously began talking. Hi, Naomi. I'm Ethan from Algebra 1. I helped you understand Mr. Smith's new lesson. I remember... Well, hi. I didn't really peg you as a guy who went to parties. I'm just here for the food, honestly. That's cool. Well, I hope you have a good time. Well, I was wondering if I could get you a drink. Naomi smiles, her dark hair hiding her eyes. She then says, Absolutely. If you can, please find something good. Ethan ran like his life depended on it, hearing Naomi's soft giggle. As Ethan walked through the door, he immediately saw David and Gabby arguing. Why the hell are you never with me unless it's a party? Babe, this is really the only time I ever go out. I promise. Oh yeah? And you just work and sleep in the meantime? Bullshit! Gabby slapped David and ran out crying. Ethan looked at David and he was hurt. You gonna be alright, man? Yeah, just give me a sec. If you want, you can have what's in my cooler. I'm not drinking them. Ethan nodded and went out to David's truck. While Ethan was digging through the cold, numbing cooler, looking for a can of soda that he knew David sometimes stocked, he heard a conversation. Are you sure this is what I've been looking for? A creepy voice responded in a way I can only describe as if a shadow were speaking.
Yes. You will step into rooms. There will
be hordes of people showering you in praise, and you will have an army willing to die for you. Is there something I need to know beforehand? Don't spray too much at one time. Okay. 3 sprays, no more or less. Ethan had been holding his breath, trying to be quiet. He was questioning who would be talking like a man with a breathing issue. After a couple of minutes, Ethan ran back into the house. He almost broke the door, nearly heel-turned back out, because there were mounds of people yelling and climbing over each other. On a closer look at the madness, it was all men. Men surrounded and for some reason barked at something in the center. It was Anna, the hostess. This was her house. She was smiling and nearly dancing at the people around her. Ethan searched the house for David, and finally there he was kneeling in front of Anna. But something was wrong. David never had any interest in Anna before. What the hell? Ethan backed out of reality and bumped into something. He turned around, and there was Naomi, terrified, her face clear and helpless. She saw Ethan and hugged him. What happened? Ethan hurriedly asked. Naomi, trying to compose herself. I don't know. Anna walked in, and first it was one boy after the other, then it was a herd circling her. The gears in Ethan's head began to turn, but was interrupted by a blood-piercing scream. Look at me, Ethan! You are supposed to be mine! Ethan turned to see Anna pointing at him with a look that could kill. The room was silent, and 1,000 eyes bore to Ethan. Anna began to cry, running out of the room, her footsteps echoing through the room. After a while, the boys looked at each other confused. They were dazed, and David was seen throwing up. Finally, everyone was freaking out. A girl tearfully broke up with her boyfriend. Gabby stared at David with contempt. There was a loud noise that sounded throughout the house. Something stepped out of the hallway with a thud. Everyone quieted down and were shocked. Anna, the once beautiful girl, now was something else. Yellow, oozy eyes all over its body. Its arms were skeletons and claws on the end of its fingertips. The legs were mounds of muscle and fat and flesh that looked like a pimple ready to pop. And worst of all, her face, or what was left of it, spiraled inward, hair clumped in some places. The mouth was on the thing's forehead, dried and missing teeth. The rest of the hair and teeth were inlaid in the lines of the spiral. The worst thing was the smell. Oh God, the smell. There was spoiled milk that had been left out for weeks in the sun in a room full of cat piss. People fainted at the sight and some vomited. What was once Anna faced Naomi and clambered with the intent to kill. The thing moved on its stomach like a snake, the boulder of legs like windmills. The demon grabbed Naomi Marie, and it roared with the origins of the depths of hell. How dare you take my spotlight? I'm the star, the queen. All I ever wanted were eyes, all eyes on me. Ethan tried to grab Naomi's hand, but it was too late. If there was one thing Ethan will never forget, it's the last scream of the night, Naomi's.